What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV with your host, Dano here. And we had to bring Mistilei back for a part two. If you guys didn't see the first episode, what are you doing watching the part two? Go watch that. No, wait. Watch this one first, and maybe it'll answer any questions that you have for part one. Mistilei, what do you have to say to the people before we get started?
I'm just excited to be here. It's hard to stay seated when I'm talking to you. I want to get up and jump around.
I love
Thanks
it.
for having me back on.
That's what I'm talking about. So everybody, share, like, do whatever you got to do to raise your vibrations, because this episode is about to be part two, a continuation of the fire and the golden nuggets that you need to live a happier, prosperous, better life. Whatever you need to think, whatever you need to do, go do it. Man, share, like, and let's get it. Let's get started.
Hi, everyone. Jeanette Ramos here, CEO and President of It Takes a Village Housing. It Takes a Village Housing is a nonprofit organization that houses women who have been affected by drug and alcohol use while having their children live in transitional housing. Services to include drug treatment, mentoring, counseling for the kids, parenting. We set them up with employment. We help them get everything that they need to get them out into the community. Go to our website, ittakesavillage1.org, and donate. Donate whatever your heart desires, and let's change families one at a time.
We're going to keep doing stuff like this all winter. Christmas is coming, Thanksgiving is coming, everything.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV with your host, Dano here. So excited to bring you another episode. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe, for being able to provide this for you guys every Thursday night, 6 o'clock. Where else would you want to be? I know this is my favorite place to be and my favorite time of the week, just to be here with you guys, my positivity posse. And you guys already beat me to it. You already know what you got to do. If you're rocking with this content, feeling the great energy, I need you to drop a hashtag positivity posse. So I know you guys are rocking with me, that you're engaging, throwing your good energy into me, into the universe, into everything. So everything that happens in our life will be a result of the great energy that we're putting into ourselves and into the guest, Mistilei, because she's coming here with the fire, with the rage, to help, writers out there, and to help everybody else that may need this information. Because we're going to be talking about her new book that released, and we're going to be talking about a few other things as well in the writing realm, with the subconscious realm. Don't get scared when you hear subconscious. That is something that's it's just a scientific fact that we have one. I mean, think about it. The best way that I can describe it to you guys is we have our conscious mind. Okay, we think about the things that we need to do for the day, or we think about picking up the weight and putting it down and doing the rep of motion. And we think about driving a car, right? That's our conscious mind. But what about the things that we do on the day to day that we don't really think about? Okay, what about breathing? If you're sick, what about sending the white blood cells to destroy all of the, infections or disease you may have? So many different things that work in our body that we don't consciously think about, but that is the operating system, I guess, that you can say, part of our brain that helps operate everything that we do, and helps us survive. So, like I said, there's so much to talk about when it comes to that. But when Mistilei comes on, we're gonna be diving deep into that and about writing in particular. And I know that I need to start working on it. That is gonna be my number one thing for my New Year's resolution. I've already started to think about a few things. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There's two things that's on the top of my list. This year is arriving to places on time, which I've been a lot better with that. So I'm gonna give myself credit. And another thing about, before I get into the other one, to my other New Year's resolution, is that you can start now. I know you don't have to wait. It's the holiday season. I know it's hard to get around to it, but you don't have to wait. Just start practicing the things that you need to start practicing now. You don't have to wait to January 1st to do it. But if you want to, hey, it's your life. Who's to tell you who's right and who's wrong? But the other New Year's resolution that I have is to start writing my affirmations. I did it. I've done it a few times. Like, I have about maybe 20 pages worth, and I want to show you guys. Like, I haven't touched this book in a minute, I'm going to be honest, but I did start to write a few. But I need some extra tips, extra tricks in order to get my ass down and to start writing the things that I need to write about. And Mistilei is definitely, I know you're going to help me with that big time. Here it is, Positivity Posse, solid for all of your upcoming projects. Thank you so much. We have so much lined up for the New Year's, for season 4. Damn, season 4 is coming up so quickly. I'm still working on a few things, like a new intro. We're going to be having new segments for the new year. I'm really excited because I know this one's going to be the biggest and the best one yet. So, and to be honest, why do I say to be honest? Because I'm always honest with you guys. I'm super, super excited and super grateful for you guys, because without you and the Positivity Posse, none of this would be possible. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Diana, for dropping that hashtag Positivity Posse. Like I said, best support system in the world, man. And I'm just so honored and grateful just to be able to do this for you guys. And I sound like a broken record. I know I've said that about 4 times already, but there's no amount of words, or no amount of, the words haven't even been invented to say thank you for all of you guys and all of your support, day in and day out, week in and week out. Thank you guys so much. So you already know what we got to do before we bring Mistilei on. We're going to go through the affirmations for today. We're going to pick a random affirmation, and I always put the air quotes around random because it's never truly random. Every single time that I open up this book, and it's a fact, go check any episode that I've done for season 3 with this book. Every single time, oh, that reminds me, I got to get a new book too. So if you have any ideas or suggestions for me, let me know. But I need a new book for the new season. But this book has served this purpose, because every single time I've opened it up, man, it's the message is for me, the message is for the guest, or the message is for a member of the Positivity Posse, because I know it's always on point with the topics that we're talking about. So yeah, thank you so much for this book. I'm even grateful for the book, grateful for the person that gave me this book. Thank you so much. And here we go. We're going to go today with number 103, page 103. Today, all right, here it is. Today is another opportunity for happiness. No matter what happened yesterday, last week, or the year before, today is a brand new state. I've been blessed with yet another chance to enjoy, play, create, and love. Every moment is new. I can choose joy at any time. Absolutely love that. Wow, that was super powerful. That was something that I needed to hear. I'm going to claim that one, but if that was for you as well, please drop it in the comments. Say thank you, or a fire emoji, or heart, something to let me know that you received that. One of the things that I really like about this, because there's so many, is the first sentence, actually. No matter what happened yesterday, last week, or the year before, today's a brand new state. And I think we can start to we can really dive into what happened back in the day. And when we do that, let's say you experience something that was negative, right? And you've overcame it and you've healed from it. But if we start to revisit that same thing that happened to us a while ago, it could have been yesterday, we're picking at old scabs and old scars and reopening old wounds that we're kind of putting ourselves through things that we don't need to go through a second time. So every moment is a brand new moment. And yes, that is 1000% a fact. And I know for me, I've been thinking about certain things that happened earlier on this year. I don't know why. I guess it's one of the things that I do for the end of the year. I just start to reflect on the year that I've had, some things that I did great, some things that I could have done better. But since I've been, in that reflective mode, that was definitely for me. Diana says, loved it. Yeah, I absolutely love that one as well. So yeah, if that resonated with you, thank you for dropping that as well. And yeah, wow, that was ultra powerful. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. And thank you for that. I'll take some more of that. I'll take some more powerful statements and some more powerful energy, positive energy from you guys and Mistilei. So without further ado, it is time to bring Mistilei back for a part 2. If you guys are ready, please, because you need to get ready for this. We're about to drop some heat. We're about to drop some fire for y'all. Please welcome Mistilei for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. But first, Misty, what are you doing? Stop looking at your book sales for your new book. It's time to come on the show. Mistilei, how's everything?
Everything is fantabulous, Dano. I'm so happy to be back on here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming back and giving the people part 2, because I don't think they got enough the first time around, because there's so much that we need to talk about that we had to fit it into 2 episodes, possibly 3. Who knows? We'll see how everything goes. But man, I'm so honored to have you back, because like I said, I have some things that we need to talk about that are going to be a little deep and maybe a continuation from part 2. But at any rate, wow, I'm so excited for this. So let's start off with what's most important, and is because you released a new book, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about the book?
I can. And before I want to tell you, I want to introduce my son in the background. His name is Hayden. He is why I was able to write this book. He is disabled, so he's having a really great time. If you hear him in the background, he is in excellent care right now. And because of my care with him, I spent a lot of time meditating. I spent a lot of time within, and I just put out a book called Quantum Writing. Mm-hmm. It's on Amazon, Quantum Writing 300, a manifestation journal. And just the shortest thing, it's for any age group to just kind of have a fun way to determine really where you want to go in life. Because once you know that, and like you just said in 103, you can create it every day. You can literally create every new day. And so that's what we're going to talk about.
I love it. I love it so much. So let's start with the title. Why quantum writing? Because, when I hear quantum, I'm like, that's science. That's something that I may not be able to understand. So where'd you come up with the title?
That was actually a gift from a friend of mine named Kenya Whaley. She's authored with me twice. She's a 2-time #1 international best-selling author, and she's a musician, and she's just a beautiful human. And I was telling her how I was going to get ready actually for Dr. Lauren Harris's show the day before I did your show. And I was a little bit nervous with my internet and my son in the background. And so I just wrote how it was going to go. I wrote about the noise. I wrote about the internet, and I wrote about how I responded. And she said, you write backwards and forwards. I said, of course. I spend more time writing forwards. And she said, so you write quantumly. I'm like, yes, but I had never put the words together. So she gifted me that title. And that's really how I manifest, is I journal a little bit about this is what happened. And then I just rewrite the day, how it's going to be the next day. That's how I got to be on your show.
Yeah. Hey, it was in the writing, I guess. And you know what? You did send me an email, a little bit ago. And I was like, wow, I read it, and then it just connected right now. What you said, so there it is. You manifested it. Now, Can you talk about what an average writing session looks like for you? Like, is everything that you write, based on your book, or is it about how to shape your life? What's an average, typical writing session look like for you?
So a discipline, I like to spend an hour a day writing, just like I like to spend an hour, in my day, I'd like to spend an hour in meditation, an hour in writing, and an hour in movement and in stretching. So if that can't happen for some reason, I'm always writing. I'll text myself something during the day because I want to write about the best moments of my day. The worst ones those are going to imprint anyway. So if I see a really cool sunset or a really cool bird or 3 blue butterflies, I'll make note of that so that when I'm journaling that night, I'll be sure to get the little nuggets that made me, made my face do that thing. Mm-hmm. And so if I don't have time, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Someone quoted me the other day and said, Misty tells you if you don't have time to write, only write the good S-H-I-T. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
Yeah, of course.
so
Yeah.
if you don't have time, if you don't have time to write, only write the good shit. I mean, if you're in a hurry, just only write the good shit. That's because you want to fall into the forward. You don't want, fall into the good stuff.
Mhm.
So
Most
So
definitely.
average though, I'd say I'd spend about an hour a day because I see the magic in it, but you don't need an hour. If you can just jot down a few things, you'll figure out a reason to do it longer.
Yeah. All right. And all it takes is a start. I mean, I know, I think everybody knows this, and hopefully you already know it. But if you can't start with an hour, like you said, start with 5 minutes, then you'll have so much fun. You'll have so much fun in that 5 minutes that it'll go to 15, then 15 to 30,
Exactly.
and 30 to an hour. And the same way that I can equate that to is like running on the treadmill. Even though it's not fun, as long as you start very small and have attainable goals, then you're able to go and branch out into bigger, bigger, and better. Now, Misty Lee, somebody like me, because I'm not an experienced writer, maybe there's somebody that's watching this right now that thinks, okay, well, I don't even know where to begin. Could you give us maybe like a top 3 checklist or something that you can give for us and maybe some new writers that want to break into the writing field, whether it's affirmations or their own book? What are some top 3 keys or suggestions that you may have in order for us to get started?
Number one, write like nobody's going to read it. This is not, no, you're not the #1 New York Times bestseller yet. So that's not the point. So first of all, just write something. And my favorite way is once upon a time in the very near future. And then write from the most bizarre imaginative space. So find your #1 perceived problem. Oh, I really need $100,000 to fix this problem. So then go once upon a time in the very near future. I saw a person with a flat tire. I pulled over and it turned out to be Elon Musk, and he gave me $100,000 for doing that. It's okay to write that because the point isn't to solve the problem. It's to do what 103 said. Open your mind to every day as a new way to create outside of our imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get stuck in our own. So that #1 is just come up with one perceived problem and then turn it into a outlandish place where you've already solved it. You don't need to know how.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you do then? That's a beautiful place to go to bed. Once you have already solved all your perceived problems, how does your day look? And then fall asleep, falling into that make-believe space,
Mm-hmm.
which then you make yourself believe it.
Yeah. And I just feel like it's a lot of things that I do and that I practice, but I would have never thought that writing, and let me not say I would have never thought, I just don't allocate enough time, if I'm going to be 100% transparent, in order to do that, to help with the things that go on a day-to-day basis. And I think when you said texting, I was like, wow, that really brought up for me, because my generation, we grew up all around these things for the most part, not all the time. But you would never think that texting would qualify as writing. So can you talk about how, maybe some other things that we can probably do? And I know for me that reading is another thing that people do that we're probably not really too conscious of it, because think about all the arguments and all the bickering that you read about in the Instagram comments, and the YouTube comments. And if you see something like, hey, well, I'm not feeling well today, Jenny B says that, right? When you read that, you're taking that and then it goes into your subconscious mind. So can you give us maybe some other ideas as to some things that we need to control when it comes to ingesting and how writing can combat that?
That is part of how it came. I became really aware of all the consumption in everything of my person, what I hear, what I see, what I eat, what I'm purchasing. And the more I dug into that, the more writing helped me be accountable. Also, I wanted to touch on what you were saying about, now I've got so many answers. Okay, let me first start with most of us have a habit, and I did when I started looking at this. I had about 10 journals that had 2 weeks worth of writing in it, and they had a very similar theme. So apparently subconsciously, I didn't want to just start in the same journal and go, here we are again. I would go buy a new one. Here we are again. And then when life started feeling better, I quit. And for me, that was a pivotal moment when I had a really amazing day one day, and I looked at my computer and I said, you know what, I'm not going to write today because it was a great day. I don't need that therapy. And then I caught myself and I made myself sit for 1 more hour and write, because that's where the muscle is built. So that when I have a bad day, I can go back to my story that I'm building.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a vibration space for me. So I wanted to talk about that. If you're getting out of habit in your journaling, that's the day you need to journal a little bit more, because you're losing some muscle space. Because journaling is not for bad days. We'll have a couple bad days that will be in a journal, but we tend to journal our bad days and we miss out on so much magic. So if you just touch on the bad and then keep journaling. So I wanted to make sure I came back to that. I may have lost the other question, but I really want to touch, if you ever are resistant to journaling, write I know what can people write if they don't know what to write. So make sure you do it. If you are resistant, just keep writing. I don't want to write about my perfect day. I don't want to write about what eventually your brain will catch on and go, I mean, if I was going to write, I would write that I would have a Lamborghini. Well, if I had a Lamborghini, I'd have to have a racetrack. Well, if I had a race, keep writing that. And eventually your brain will get back to creating again. And that's what you want, whatever it takes to get your mind. Now, I know what the other question was, tools. My favorite tool is my phone. I put it on video and just set it on the counter and I tell my story. Oh, wow. My perfect day, I woke up to a sunrise looking through this type of window with this type of architecture. I can see a mountain in the background. It looks like a postcard. I just tell the story. And then if I really am being lazy, I'll let it dictate back to Word into a document, so I can go back and add details later. And then my last tidbit would just keep the story going. Just keep that make-believe story of your perfect life going, and you'll catch up to it faster than you think.
So. I love that. And, those are all really, tangible things that you can do, and they're easy to do. I mean, think about it. Instead of going on, Facebook Live and talking about something that bad happened to you, use that to talk about a good story. And then you don't even have to publish it. So it's not like you're talking to anybody, you're talking to yourself. And in secret, whether you realize it or not, you're talking to the universe and you're talking to the higher powers and all that stuff. So they see it and they know that your vibration is going higher. So it has no choice but to transpire that way in real life. Now, can you talk? I want to talk about confidence and writing. Can you talk specifically on how writing has maybe upped your confidence and help you be, your true self? And not, be unapologetic, because I know that about you. Like, you always say what's on your mind and you always put a positive spin on it. But, writing has had to have some kind of impact with your confidence. Tell us about it.
Yeah. Thank you. I would love to. That's so part of what I do is I publish anthologies. I did put out my solo book. That was actually my first project. That was the quantum writing is the first one that was just me solo. So that was like my only baby that I did. Normally, what I do is I put together anthologies. That's what these are, little product placement, a line, and Here Comes the Sun. And my first piece that I published was in a book called Shift with Intention. And those are groups of like 40 authors that come together to talk about a similar topic. And that's why I love what I do, is because I get to help authors through that part where they're not sure what to do, or they don't think they're an author, or they don't think they know how to write. All you have to have is something you want to tell people, and then that's my gift. And so your job is just to start writing. It's not to be a best-selling author, because if you want that later, there's professionals that will help you. But for right now, just keep creating, catching the ideas when they come and putting them on the paper. And also, I want to tell you, your ideas are your ideas. They shouldn't make sense to other people, or otherwise they'd be their ideas. So be mindful. If someone doesn't understand or agree, that's okay, because that's not their gift or talent. And I use Steve Harvey. The man is a brilliant comedian and television host, but was told his entire life he wasn't going to make it. And he just said, I'm not going to listen. I knew since I was 6 years old, I was going to be on TV. So just keep writing that story, and then nothing can get in your way. So that was a lot, but thank you.
I just agree with you 100%. And it's kind of like the same thing of what you said, where, you don't want to bring up, Steve Harvey just to say, oh, look, Steve Harvey did it. It's just the principle of that. If it can happen to one person, you can have that same experience or better. You never know. So the only thing is that you need to have that confidence just to even just get started. A lot of people kind of tell themselves stories or excuses on why they can't do it, or I don't have the time, or whatever the case may be. And Mistilei, I know that you're a coach and you help new writers as well. So can you give us 2 excuses or maybe limited beliefs that people may have, and how you debunk them when it comes to, writing or anything that they want to get started with?
They color them a lot of different ways. They present most as I don't have the time right now because I have a lot of other things going on. or I don't have all my thoughts in order. Those are the two most, and I find that most of us that have something that we're confident enough we want to share, and we feel it called on our heart to share it, we are also high enough leveled people in our life that we feel a little bit funny going, I have no idea what to do. I'm a mess. I got 25 pieces of paper, but I really want to help people. And so that's me. I am a great mess collector and then presenter of beautiful product. And so I'm the pit crew, or the doula, whichever, feminine or masculine.
I love that.
So that's just they present as time or organization, but really it's just, I dare you. I dare you. Let's just put out your first published piece, because after that, it is smooth sailing. You'll know if it calls to you. And whether it's with me or a lot of people do anthologies. I love the connection I have with my authors, but for sure, if you're called to write something and share something, do so. And I'm going to get you some affirmations. I'm working with someone named Dallin, and he's put together a really nice I'm going to get it. I'll put you guys in touch for your 2023.
That. See, look at that. See, and it's as simple as that. I mean, we're in flow right now, and I'm telling you, when you guys experience this hour, it's like nothing that I've ever experienced before. But see, look, you just saw it firsthand. I said I wanted to do something, and Mistilei has the connection, but it can be that simple. You just saw it firsthand. So don't worry about anything that might be happening, or like you said, how it's going to happen, because then you'll start to tell yourself the story, and then the story may not be what happens. And then if it happens the way that you don't think it's going to happen, then you're going to be completely discouraged from going down that road. So don't worry about how it's going to happen. Just know that it's going to happen. And I want to give an extra tip as well, is I always think about the end result and the end person that I'm going to be, because in order to be where you're going to be, you're not going to be the person that you are now, because you're going to learn so many lessons, good and bad, positive and negative. You're going to meet so many different people and have so many different experiences that you have to imagine yourself already in that place of that multimillionaire, or that piece that you already, that person that achieved that ultimate piece or whatever you're going to be, and then experience life from that, that point of view. And then everything else will kind of shape itself to make that a reality for you as well. And I want to talk about this one too. This is great. Don't worry about punctuation or spelling. This kind of goes with the being a perfectionist. And with being a perfectionist, I know that if everybody else, Misty, let's use you for an example, right? If everything that you were to publish and write would be absolutely perfect, and your goal is to help everybody else, it would cause that disconnect for people to say, "Oh, well, I can't do that because Mistilei has written everything perfectly." And it kind of causes that disconnect. So can you talk about, how kind of bad it is to have that, not bad, because I don't want to put it like that, because, being a perfectionist, you want to care about everything that you're doing, but talk about, that perfectionist mindset and what's kind of like the sweet medium when it comes to writing.
It's interesting that you tell me that, because I had a line of people who backed out of my second book after the success of my first book.
Wow.
Because they said, oh, I thought this was going to be a casual thing. And I'm like, I'm really good at what I do. Like, I wouldn't be working with you if I didn't have faith in this. So one thing is just make sure you're on a team of people who are, if you're going to publish, make sure the person you're working with is on your team, that they support you getting to the finish line. They don't have to support what you're writing about. That's a great thing. But whether you're Christian or Jewish or anything in between doesn't change how I publish, because I'm supporting you as a human. In the writing process at home, do the same thing. Don't grade yourself. Like, just let it out, because you're learning a brand new skill. And if you're not willing to do that, that's where the aging process really starts. If you're no longer willing to take on new skills. So do it with make-believe and fairy tales. That's the best way.
I hear that.
Oh, can I add one more thing?
Yeah,
you did say, we were talking about imagine the outcome, and that's beautiful. The thing about imagining the outcome, if you can really step into it as if it's already happened, you'll be able to release some of the attachment on how you get there, and just tell the universe, this is what I'm looking for, not necessarily how you must get to it. And that's where that really good imagination in your story. So I would ask that you resist the urge, if you're a perfectionist, to say, I'm going to open a business because I got a small business loan from First National Bank and they gave me 2% interest. The universe may have something much more magical in store for you. So really avoid linear thought and try to expand on imagination when you're writing. That's the other. I wanted to really make sure we hone that in. Don't go linear.
Yeah, I agree with that 1000%. And then we're gonna take a quick commercial break, but we have, I have a quote that you told me about earlier, and I want you to go into it and dive deep into it. And if you're watching this right now, whether it's live on the replay, whether it's sunny, rainy, shiny, it doesn't matter. Share it, please, because there might be somebody that needs to hear this information. And then once they get their book published, who knows, they might change the world. And it's all thanks to you because you shared it, because they didn't know about it before. So do whatever you got to do. Take a quick 2-minute break, share, like. We're just going to go into a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere too far. And we'll be right back with some more Weekly Dose of Dano content. Let's get it. So everybody, that was just a quick word from our sponsors. Thank you so much to our sponsors for sponsoring the Weekly Dose of Dano platform, because as long with the, can't even speak right now. As well as the Positivity Posse, you guys are what's make this platform possible. So let's get right back to it. Hope you guys got done everything that you needed to get done in 2 minutes. And I've noticed from the show that 2 minutes is actually a long time, because they'll be, their commercials going on while I'm running around doing certain things in the background. Like, oh, I got to grab my drink and I got to do this and I have to go on a mission. So that's all besides the point. Let's get right back to it. So I want you to explain this quote, Mistilei, and you said it yourself. I don't know if you claimed this quote or if you heard it from somewhere or if you even remember saying it, but here it is.
Oh boy.
It says, reciprocity is not instant or even the same person. So what does that even mean?
Ooh, actually, so that was a gift from an author that I had in a line. His name is Aluwa. And I actually was watching a show of his just to get to know him a little better. And he had a quote about that. So I'm not sure where it originated. And then I just took it and kind of built it to what I had there. Mm-hmm. I had a theory that if I do enough things for you when I'm having an issue, and then I should call you, and then I would expect that you would do that for me. Mm-hmm. That would be, that's our reciprocity. What I understand now is that as I continue to shine my light and give and serve out, the science is that will come back to me rather than me sitting here looking for it. I'm actually missing on where it might be coming from. Mm-hmm. So when I'm saying A owes B because B did something for A, I missed the whole other alphabet of possible abundance in reciprocity for my gift. So that once I quit looking for immediate, like, Dano owes me this, and Bobby owes me that. Then I just gave everybody freely, and then it just kind of tidal waved back to me, and now I'm like a surfer, just riding a lovely life. So that's where don't expect it from where you gave it from. Just keep giving it.
Yeah, I love that. And I think we can start to get caught up in that, because think about it. If let's just say if it's money, for example, and if let's just say I were to lend you money, then you think, okay, that's the only place that this can possibly come from. And like you said, you miss out on life, and you think that that's the only way for certain things to be. And then if you do it in that facet in your life, then you'll do it in other areas as well. And then we can really start to miss out because we kind of have that limited mindset of thinking, oh, well, it can only come from this person since I gave it to them. So I'm so happy that you talked about that. And I'm gonna spin it a little bit, but because I know this is gonna be a little bit of a subject that not many people know about, right? So when you're doing those great things, you're elevated your vibration, and then it all goes into your subconscious mind, which I kind of talked about earlier. So I need you to talk about that and how writing is connected to the subconscious mind.
So I can get really deep. So if you really want to get woo-woo, you guys can call me and we can work together one-on-one. So I really believe that when you write the story, you and especially when you fall asleep, I like to review my happy story that I'm continuing on about the perfect life when all my dreams come true. And I add details every day, and I like to review that and then fall asleep, falling forward into this magical place. And we call it of make-believe, but it's making me believe. So that's really important to me, that I fall into that space and into that really beautiful energy when I go to bed, because I believe my subconscious is searching through 95% of the brain that we do not access, looking for the answers, because now it understands. And I use it. I would like for everyone to picture me wearing a pink Louis Vuitton robe, holding legal medical marijuana, or just legal marijuana in any state, because that means my son and I live in a state I can medicate him properly. And I have gotten myself in a situation where it would be appropriate for me to have something like that. So it's not the robe. That's not my goal. It's the life that I would have created to be wearing that robe. And so when I fall asleep with that, my brain goes, oh, she wants to serve enough people to have a $1,000 bathrobe. Okay, well, now we can find her. It's literally a television show, an opportunity to be on this show. And like, things have opened up on me because I quit trying to tell God or the universe how I want to get my word out. So once I quit, and yes, you got to have resources. You and I've talked about this before. Do the jobs you know you need to be doing, but always let the universe or God know when you go to bed at night, so your subconscious, especially while you're sleeping, it has more freedom to roam, can go, okay, thank goodness they'll be quiet for a little bit. Now we can do our work. And that's where the magic is. Yeah. And then, and I know you and I spend our morning time, that's a sacred time for us. When you wake up, be quiet for a minute, because you might have, I literally have woken up and written an entire chapter for a book because I got the answer to the question that I asked when I went to bed. But I sit and I listen, and I know you spend time in the mornings too. So the writing gets very woo-woo, but you don't have to meditate to write. Your subconscious will do the work, but you get more out of it. You get more bang for your buck if you'll stop and listen to.
Yeah, and a big thing with that too is not maybe in the writing sense, but I know like a bunch of musicians, they write their best work, like you said, when they're kind of in that flow, and something that they took, one of the greatest hits only took 5 minutes to make because it came through that subconscious mind. And definitely you hit the nail right on the head when you say the morning is one of the most precious times and sacred times. That's what I do every time I wake up, every single time I wake up. For the most part, like 98% of the time, I'll grab my phone, grab my headphones, and I'll meditate. And you don't need your headphones, or you don't need your phone, but that's just the way that I prefer to do it. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand, and especially like you said, even before the morning, it's the nighttime where that's why it's so crucial that you don't watch TV, or if you don't, play like violent video games, or watch any negative movies before you go to sleep, because you're having that bad programming on before you go to sleep. Now, Mistilei, I need you to talk about some of the, cleansing things that you do before nighttime comes around, so that when you go to sleep, and everything is manifesting for you, that it's, clean and everything that you want it to be. So do you like cleanse before you sleep, or what's your process look like?
Again, I could get really woo woo. We'll start basically. I think everyone knows no blue light, sleep in a quiet room, in a cool room, so that the sleep hygiene, that's pretty, that's a nice place to start. I think that I kind of have a ritual to just, I used to call it a brain dump, but I don't really like that. I kind of just have a release at night. If there's anything that's on my mind, I just kind of put it on paper and just release it, because I can't make a business call to the electric company while I'm sleeping. So let's just release that onto paper or onto your phone. And then I go ahead and, I like to write, but if you're not going to write, either I meditate into sleep. I call it meditation sleep gravy. Like, I'll just meditate into my sleep, and then whatever those waves link up, I know they do their thing. But I do think that we haven't taken our sleep as serious as we could. And that's another place that your subconscious mind could really use a boost. And I think if we could measure meditation really easily on a scale, people would count that more than like calories and things.
Yeah.
Why
Why do you say that? Is because, you're setting up your mind for it, or why do you say that?
Well, and I used writing, but I've lost 140 pounds, and I did it by visualizing what she did. What does a skinny person even do? How do they get up? What do they act like? And I actually had some pretty good biases that I was able to be honest with myself once I wrote them. Writing is pretty accountable. So I know I forgot my question. You got me excited because I was talking about
I actually want to talk about that. You just said, writing holds yourself accountable. And I think that's one of the things that's kind of like a lost art, because it's so easy to blame other people and blame so many things, to say, oh, well, because this person is acting this way, I'm going to act this way. And it's because of them that I'm acting this way. Well, no, just because somebody treats you a certain way, obviously I'm excluding like the extreme cases of like physical violence, things like that. But you shouldn't let people kind of get you out of your character if you know that you're a certain way and you always take the high road. It's very important that you hold yourself accountable. So I need you to talk about the writing aspect and how it holds you accountable, because somebody can make the point and say, hey, well, you just said, write about fairy tales and what you want your life to be like. So how does the accountability really come into that factor as well with writing?
So I quit drinking and smoking in 2014. And my first diaries from those days, or my first journals, are just about how the doctors are being such jerks and they're not answering. Like, I had nothing nice to say, and everybody at work, and it was just miserable. And I didn't like being sober. And I wrote every day about how boring sober life was. And then I started learning tricks to flip the script. And so then I started being proud of being sober and enjoying the changes in my body, and writing about that, and writing what sober people do. Oh, maybe they get kayaking. That was my first imagining thing. And now I kayak. I bought a piece of property so I can kayak in my own yard. I have a big water source here. But that came to me because I was imagining what did these people do when they live like this? And I want to talk to you for like a 7-hour show. Do you have an all-day show that we could do someday?
No, but I do have an hour and a half. We have a special. So if you want to work on a special, let me know.
What I need is flashcards so you can keep me on. Tell me exactly the question that you want me to answer, because I just keep going and going and going and going.
No worries. But this is, it needs to come out,
The last sleep thing that I do want to make sure this is my closing thing. And, it's kind of like in the Christian world, in Jesus' name, amen. I think this is kind of just putting a little sprinkle on however you close out your prayer, your meditation. I say, make my story come true, and even better, because I only have my imagination and my possible outcomes. And there are 8 billion people on the earth. Mm-hmm. So I always want to leave my subconscious going, make it come true. But you do you have such fabulous ideas, so that's my final thing. I wanted to come back to the sleep question, is just make sure the last thought you leave yourself with, even if it's in a fantasy world in your mind and you don't believe in woo-woo at all, imagine you won Publishers Clearinghouse. That's fine, as long as you go in a place of absolute bliss when you go to sleep. it doesn't change whether you won or not. It changed how you show up for other people, which makes you more likely to get the job, more likely to close the sale, more likely to make a healthy food choice, more likely to attract the person you want, because you're vibrating like this instead of like, oh, everybody's out there, so keep that up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it needed to come out because, like I said earlier, before we even got started with the show, that's what I really like about the Weekly Dose of Dental platform, is that it's a safe space and protected space that everybody can come, and the things that we talk about here, everybody needs to hear. Whether it's me, whether it's you, whether it's the person watching live or on the replay, it always goes in tandem, with our greatest good and for our higher elevation. But I agree with you as far as going to sleep and working on those different things. There's some things I do need to work on because I'm not perfect with it. When it comes to that blue light, like, I turn the TV off, but as far as like decompressing an hour before, I don't do anything like that. But maybe that can be one of the things that I can work on for my my New Year's resolution. In addition to, like you said, well, like I said earlier, is writing. Because I know how important it is, and I know that it sounds cliche, but it's life changing. It literally changes your life. So if there's something that's that important and that powerful that I'm not really taking serious, then that's something that I need to work on as well. So, like I said, this is what needed to be for today. So thank you so much for coming on. And, let's talk about, we only have a few minutes left. So can we talk about your book for a little bit more? What
Sure.
can people anticipate when it comes to reading your book, and what are they going to gain from it?
All right. The book I just put out this week is Quantum Writing 300. And it was based on a challenge that I saw to write down 300 things you wanted, and how really difficult that is when you really sit down and hold yourself accountable, because you may have something on there that you want, but you absolutely know you're not willing to do the work. So don't use the energy thinking that you're in lack when it's not something you really want. I used I really want a white furry bedroom, but not bad enough to get rid of my pets and my son. And so I just took that off. That way it's not a place for me to think. So quantum writing is a good place to help people who might feel like they need focus. They might feel like they need motivation to go to a new level. They might need to manifest some really cool things in their life. So whether you're linear or woo-woo, the book will work for you. I've also got most people who sampled the book got stuck in really similar areas. My dogs are going to join us for just one moment. So most people got stuck in similar areas. So I put little notes in the book to kind of help you keep going, help you open your mind. Because again, this is just me wanting you to open your mind in a really creative way by giving you the entire universe toy catalog and saying, pick 300 things. Just pick 300, because it's not about the things. That's the first hard thing for people to get over. But the quantum book, I want everyone to get it. You can work it with your family. You can, we had younger people working on it. Just shorten the list for them. Obviously 300 is a little bit much. And they'll actually inspire you to get your thoughts. And then the next level would be to work with high level people to help them inspire. But start with quantum writing, and you can join me on the Quantum Writing Facebook page, Quantum Writing 300. And I'm there live all the time. I answer questions because I get very similar questions each week for we're all thinking the same things. We just all think we aren't. Yeah. And before we run out of time, I'll put my link in there, but it's Calendly.com campground TBD. All my appointments that are open from now until New Year's Eve, there's no charge for them, and there is no sales call. It is simply to connect with people if you're feeling alone during the holidays. So I'm just wanted to put that out on the show. That is something I take very seriously, because I have spent a lot of holidays alone, and sometimes it feels funny. So if you want to talk about writing, how to use writing, or we'll just talk, as long as we can talk positive, I would love to have a call. So please, that's a serious offer, and I've opened up the whole schedule, and nothing will be authored for sale. This is not that kind of call.
There you go. You better take her up on that offer, because if you're loving her here, I mean, we love her so much that we had to bring her back for part 2. So I hope you guys understand. I hope you guys can feel it too. I want to talk about one thing that, there were so many things I can talk about, but one thing that really stood out to me is kind of the lack mindset that you said. And it's not about the things, it's about the things behind the things. So let's say if you're, in a tough position with, financially, right? And a lot of people say, oh, well, I need $100,000 because I don't have enough to pay for this or XYZ. Don't manifest certain things from the place that you don't have it. So that's why you want it. You know what I mean? Because that's it's coming from a negative place, and like you said, a lack mindset. And then also, like I said, there's so many things to talk about when it comes to this. So now I'm starting to feel what you felt, how you have so many different things coming through. And it's not about the money that you want. It's about the freedom. It's about the, comfort. It's about the security, all these things that you want. So it's not really the dollar, the paper bill that you want, because if you wanted to manifest paper, all you have to do is go to a Staples and just buy
Right.
a notebook. So it's not about the paper. It's about the things that go behind the money. Like I said, the happiness, the financial security, the just security that you feel, the freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do. So I just wanted to touch on that, because it's like you said, it's not about the things, it's about the feelings behind the things. So we always wrap up, Mistilei, the show in the same sense, in the same way, with the same question every single week. If there's somebody right now that's going through their deepest, darkest times, what advice would you have to give for them in order to get out of it?
I've made it through 100% of my days so far. And if you're watching this, so have you. And the only difference between me and everything I've ever wanted is my belief in it. So pick something you believe in that much and then make it happen. Write your own story.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. It's all great, great stuff. And I want to show you guys before this show ends, just the, here it is. Let's see. Just wanted to show you, if you're interested, this is what the page looks like right here. Quantum Writing 300, 105 members. Absolutely. I bet you all of these members are absolutely amazing, just as much as you are. So there's what it looks like. What's this banner right here? What's this?
Ooh, that's Friday, the Christmas special. That's Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, who wrote with me in a line, and Janine Mazursky, who wrote with me in a line. And they've put together this with a lot of fabulous country and Western authors, or singers. Not everyone's an author to me. They've got some great names on there, and I don't want to start calling them off because I don't want to miss anybody, but the lineup is incredible. So Friday night, that's something that you can watch. And those two of my favorite humans are involved in that. Actually, three of my favorite. Melissa Collins is also in there as a musical guest. And so it's like my family reunion. So I got to be a part of
watch that at? Where was it?
Pardon me?
Where can they watch that? What platform was it?
Trajectory TV.
Oh, Trajectory TV. Awesome. Well, I'm a part of Trajectory TV. And
Yeah.
You just got Lauren in trouble. Now I got to go talk to him, and I got a bone to pick with him now.
Oh,
there you go. No, I'm just messing with you guys.
Can you cut this out? This is live.
Nope. I'm going to show him this part and only this part. No, I'm just kidding. So everybody, I hope you guys all have a great, absolutely fantastic holiday season. I know it may be a little bit hard, maybe emotionally or financially for certain people, but just know, like Mistilei said, you're here, you made it through 100% of your days. And really change the script and do something that you might have not done before. Go volunteer at a soup kitchen, or maybe go donate a toy or two. I mean, it doesn't have to be money specifically. It can be your time. It can be your energy. These are some of the things that a lot of people don't really think about during the holiday season, because they're so caught up in what they have to do for their family. But think about all the families that may not be as fortunate as you. And I guarantee you, once you get done with whatever donation process, whether it's monetary or your time, you're going to have that your mindset really shifted into more gratitude. And then when you vibrate at that level of gratitude, everything else has to, follow. That's high vibration. So good things. Maybe it might be an opportunity you've been waiting for. Maybe you might meet that significant person that you're trying to find. You never know. Thank you, Diana. I agree. This is absolutely amazing. Because Mistilei was here and because you guys are here, members of the Positivity Posse. Like I said, if you're not a part of it, like the show, share it, do whatever you got to do to be a part of it. And I'm just going to sign off with this to say thank you so much, Mistilei. Hope you have a great holiday season. For my Positivity Posse, I hope you guys have a great holiday season as well. Christmas is in a few days. Go spend it with some family or some people that you care about and care about you. And I hope you guys have a great, great holiday season. Be safe. And I'll see you next week, Thursday at 6. For another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Thank you, guys. Thank you again, Misty.
Bye. Thank you. See you next time.